All right, guys, finishing up chapter 19 here, and we're going to move now from talking about the different types of demos to actually getting to produce your demo. Preparation is the key to a great demo. This is not something you just want to throw together and piece together on a whim. First off, again, can't say this enough, do not produce your demo until you are ready to showcase your work and to show people what you've got. Once you get there, have your marketing plan in place before you spend the money on recording your demo with a qualified demo producer. Know what your business strategy is going to be. Know how you want to present yourself to prospective producers. Have your plan in place. Now, if you're looking for copy for a demo, well, you might be able to find copy with the particular recording studio that you use to record your demo. Some studios will have stuff that is ready and available. The only real advantage to having the studio provide a copy is that your demo session becomes more like a real session. In other words, you're basically going to walk into the studio, they're going to hand you the copy, you've got a short amount of time to see the copy in advance, and you have to roll with it as if it were a real recording session. So it shows what you truly can do. There are a couple of downsides though. Your session might take considerably longer because you'll be working with the copy cold and relatively unrehearsed. Again, makes it more real world, but when you're trying to put your best foot forward on a project, some people may not want to do that with their demo in terms of putting themselves on the spot like that. You could also easily end up using copy that is not right for your style. It's not guaranteed that a recording studio is going to have all different sorts of copy for you to be able to look through and say, ooh, this one's perfect for me. So while it is an option, it may not be the best option for everybody to use copy that a recording studio has. A better approach is to listen to the radio and TV commercials and browse through magazines looking for advertising copy that fits your style. Record commercial breaks and transcribe the ads that fit your abilities and style, putting each script on a separate piece of paper. So, find real stuff that's out there, write it down, make some adaptations to make the copy your own. Talent buyers want to hear how you handle the primary parts of a commercial. They want to hear how you deal with the headline, the features, and the benefits. They want to hear how you handle the story content, how you deliver the call to action. And most important to clients, they want to make sure you deliver the name in a proper sort of way, giving it the right emphasis and importance that it deserves. Look for ads that target specific audiences. Look for the particular demographics that you would best be, that your voice would be best suited for. And being able to showcase that you can reach out to different types of audiences as is appropriate. Look for products or services that will allow you to perform your modified copy in a variety of styles. Do a serious one, do a humorous one. Look for hard sell, soft sell, all the different sorts of emotions and inflections and ways that you can say certain words and twist those words into different meanings. That's going to showcase what you can do a whole lot better. Look for key phrases and sentences that have emotional content. These will be your keys to an effective performance. So find those important words. Make sure that they have the right weight to them when you say them. That's going to leave a lasting impression on those that hear your demo. Do appropriate woodshedding for each script. Make sure that you do a complete script analysis to make sure that you are giving the best possible interpretation of the copy. Time yourself with each rehearsal, recording yourself if possible. Now, again, we know in post-production you can lengthen, you can shrink the amount of recording time and things like that, but it's not an ideal way to approach things. If you're trying to do commercial copy, you know that you have 30 seconds. You know that you have 60 seconds. Make sure you can deliver the script within that time. Rehearse each script with different dynamics and phrasing to determine options and what you feel to be the strongest delivery. Again, it's about proper interpretation of the copy. And when you go to the studio, make sure you take at least 3 clean copies of each script. One for yourself, one for the engineer, and the third for your director. So you're all looking at the same thing. Be wary of studios that record your voiceover tracks and then ask you to leave while they handle production without you there. Here's the thing. When you're recording a demo, it is your work. This is different from when you are recording for a client where the client has the final say in what the end piece sounds like. In this case, you're the one that has the final say. Even though you're the one in the studio, in essence, you are the client for the production studio. So make sure you have your finger on what is going on so that you can be best represented and that you can hear what's happening so that you're sure that the best foot is being put forward. Your input is valuable. It might actually help with the production process. Because just as there may be breakdowns in communication between you and a producer and a client when you're in a recording studio in terms of interpretation, there could also be misunderstandings that happen between you and an editor when you're trying to showcase something in a particular light and they interpret something a little bit differently. So make your voice heard, not just on the microphone, but in the editing room as well. Have fun, enjoy the experience, and stay through as much of the production process as you possibly can. Now, for those of you that may need scripts to practice with, or perhaps to use sample scripts, I've put some links to some resources in your notes. There's a whole lot of other ones that are out there. Again, though, you want to use these services with caution because these things are freely available on the internet, which means more than just you is looking at these scripts. So it's very possible that you might wind up picking a script that someone else is using in their demo. My suggestion would be that if you use these online resources, use them as a tool, use them as a guide, perhaps do some rewrites, make the script your own before going into the studio and then making the production itself your own. How long should my demo be? Well, we've talked about links for different types of demos previously. A couple of things to keep in mind, though. If you have an agent, ask what length is preferred by the agency. Because the agent is going to represent you, give the agent something that he or she is going to be very comfortable with presenting to prospective producers. If you don't have an agent, then you'll want your demo to conform to current conventional lengths for the type of demo that you'll be producing. Again, refer back to the notes. The trend has been overall moving towards shorter demos. So taking commercial demos, for example, it used to be nothing to have a demo that was 3 minutes long. But these days, where most producers are looking for something that's a minute. If you're doing a minute and a half, you're pushing it. Some in LA and New York want demos that are only 30 seconds long. So it is really, really, really important that you put just your best stuff into your demo. And you put your absolute best as soundbite number 1. Using product and brand names. There's a little bit of debate on this. Some producers believe that including product names lends credibility to the performer, and other producers feel that most important aspects of a demo are actually more the performer's ability to communicate the message or to tell the story. The thing of it is, there is pros and cons to both. And we've talked about how when you're using specific product names in a demo, if it is a piece that you actually did not record for that particular client, it can be somewhat misleading. So that's something to keep in mind. But the big thing is, if you choose to include product names in your demo, include only one or two of them and let your performing abilities shine for the rest of the copy. And when you do mention a product name, make sure that you do it in such a way that that product is emphasized, in such a way that if a client heard the way that you talk about the particular company, they would see that in a favorable sort of way. All right, moving on, dialogue, music, and sound effects. Your demo is your demo. And the purpose of your demo is to feature your performance and only your performance. So keep that in mind. As much as we want the demo to stand out, we want to make sure it stands out for the right reasons. We are not showcasing our producing and editing skills. We're showcasing our voice. So we want to make sure that our voice is the star of the demo. Now, you can include other voiceover performers if you want, but when you do that, do so judiciously. On one hand, you want to make sure that other voices that are heard in the demo, they sound like they know what they're doing. But you also run the risk of having that other voice outshine you if they're looking for a particular type of sound or voice. And, that could cause some problems for you. So be very careful about including other voices in your demo. The use of music and sound effects is essential to creating a demo that sounds like it contains real-world spots. However, if they're used, you want to make sure that music is appropriate for the mood and the energy of the message, but again, that it does not overshadow your performance. Also, when you do use music, make sure you're following copyright law. You can only use music from licensed music libraries. You can't use the latest album from your favorite artist. It's copyrighted, and it's not going to benefit you to include that, in addition to the fact that you can get fined for it. Sound effects should only be used where appropriate, and they must be of high quality. Again, we want things to sound as real as we possibly can, and we want it to complement what we're trying to show with our voice. The demo production process. First off, do your homework when it comes to choosing a demo producer. You will need a producer with whom you feel comfortable and confident in their abilities to listen to you and to make sure that you sound your absolute best. Now, not every production house is going to be good at helping someone produce a demo. Just as different voice actors have different specialties in what they do better than others, some production houses are better at helping actors produce demos than others are. So you want to make sure that you are doing your homework and trying to determine if the production house that you use is worth your hard-earned money. If you want an example of one of the processes that a production house uses, there is a link in your notes to a 2-page article that you can take a look at. How much will the demo cost? Well, a lot of this depends on where you are and who you use. It can range from anywhere from $300 to $4,000 or more for the use of production studio services. And there's a sample cost breakdown in your textbook that you could take a look at. It's more than just booking studio time. So keep that in mind. As far as recording studios goes, again, you want to make sure that you hire a professional demo producer, someone that knows what they're doing to help voice actors sound their best, because different production houses specialize in different things. How do I book a demo studio and producer? Well, first thing you want to do, if you're having trouble finding a production company, ask other voice talent who they've used, what their experience was like. Make your judgments from there. Word of mouth, some of the best ways to get recommendations. Some tips and questions to ask when you're looking for a producer. First off, find a studio that records radio and TV commercials. They're going to know what the end product should sound like. Does the studio produce voiceover demos? Does the studio have an engineer who knows how to direct voiceover talent? Because you're not working for a particular client and you're not being shrouded by what they want, find someone that can help you make the best decisions about the overall sound and overall presence of what the final product should be. Listen to other demos produced by the studio or producer. Gives you a way to try before you buy. Does the studio have session time that will coincide with your availability? Do your calendars match up? What's the studio's hourly rate for voice recording? Have a budget in mind of how much you're willing to spend and know what you can afford. Does the studio have music and sound effects libraries? Can you use that stuff legally? Does the studio charge for music or sound effects? That might be an additional cost outside of just booking the studio time. What other fees will the studio charge? Are there different handling fees? Are there fees for the finished product? Do they produce CDs for you? Find out everything that's being offered and the cost of each thing. What's the estimated production time? How quickly are they going to be able to turn your project around? What will you take with you when your demo is done? Do you get the original raw files? Do you get the full high quality MP3s? What all do you get? And how will your session be backed up? If for some reason you needed to get another copy of materials, or if you needed to redo something at a later date, how do they archive your content? Now, as far as the day of your recording session, big one here. Arrive on time and arrive prepared. Arriving late for real-world sessions will give you a bad reputation in a hurry. And even arriving late for time that you're paying for is going to leave a sour taste in the mouth of a producer. And quite honestly, sometimes if a production company finds out that a certain type of voice talent is needed for a certain type of production, they might have the opportunity to sway people to choose you or to choose somebody else. So make every effort to do things professionally, to be timely, and when you do them, be on time, be ready to go. Don't be out of sorts when you go in. Get in there and get it done. Now, working with your engineer or your producer, if you are careful when booking the studio, you'll probably have an engineer who knows much more about voiceover work than you do. They'll definitely know what sounds good. They'll definitely know some tips and tricks from an engineering standpoint as to how to make you sound good. Make sure you pay attention to your engineer and to your producer. You can learn a lot from a good engineer. And again, they might be able to be a good contact for you to find work later on. Make friends with them. Do what they tell you to do. And really just kind of drink in all that they have to offer. Now, keep your demo current. This is another thing. As you go along in your career, you're going to be doing different productions that's going to better showcase your voice and show more of the current state of things as opposed to something you did 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So a good demo, you can probably use it for 6 months to a year. Our voices change from time to time. Our skills and qualities, they change from time to time as well. A new demo is a good way to stay in touch with past clients as well and to reach out to new prospects. So, if you're keeping a client list and a list of contacts and a list of prospects for where to find work, every time you create a new demo, send it out. Let them know that you're still in the business. Let them know that you're doing fresh content. Let them know that you're honing your skills. And the more that you reach out to them on that occasional sort of basis, the better it's going to be for you that your name is continually in the forefront of their minds. And again, they know that you're responsive and they know you're active. It could lead for you to be able to get work with them sometime in the future. So there you go. There's what's all entailed in producing a demo, getting it out there, getting it ready to go. You need to get your notes and study questions ready to go, sent off to me. And before we get together for class, make sure you check out the questionnaire. Let me know the things you thought were profound, the things you have questions on, and we'll have a discussion when we get together for our class session.